Justice Department is launching an investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department less than 24 hours after a jury convicted Derek Chauvin of murder, killing George Floyd.
Justice Department has opened a civil investigation to determine whether the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing.
The Attorney General says yesterday's verdict does not address potentially systemic policing issues in Minneapolis. And today we also got our first look at Derek Chauvin from inside a Minneapolis jail as he awaits sentencing. Now, after his conviction, the race for New York City mayor is renewing its focus on police reform and confronting systemic racism. News 4's Andrew Siff is standing by at City Hall to tell us more about that. Andrew.
David, that's right. That issue has now vaulted to the top of the policy agenda for now. Keep in mind, the mayoral primary is 2 months from tomorrow, and all of the candidates talking about what to do about policing following this emotional verdict.
George Floyd!
Immediately after the verdict, crowds of people at Barclays Center included candidates for mayor, from former Housing Commissioner Sean Donovan to former nonprofit executive Diane Morales, who has called for defunding the police, to civil rights lawyer Maya Wiley.
We are not done until we right-size the police department.
Wiley, for the first time this week, putting a dollar figure on her plan to reduce the police budget and reroute that money towards youth and mental health services.
Cut $1 billion from the NYPD budget, which is bloated.
But the candidate leading the polls for mayor so far today took a different view.
I don't agree that there's like a hard and fast number that you can have in your mind and say like this is the appropriate move to make.
But Andrew Yang did accept the endorsement of City Councilman Carlos Menchaca, who had been running for mayor, also on a platform of defunding the police. Meanwhile, Controller Scott Stringer saying, as mayor, I will not be held hostage by the police, and I won't back down from upending the status quo when I encounter resistance. Another candidate, Eric Adams, is a former police officer himself, calling for targeted spending reductions.
It's like $400 million in overtime, civilianizing our police department to have them do law enforcement and clerical duties. And so I am not willing to say, here's a dollar amount without doing a real analysis.
Another candidate, former Sanitation Commissioner Catherine Garcia, has said protecting police patrol resources is critical. And the mayor she worked for continued to hint the task will fall to whomever replaces him.
Reforming policing is necessary. It has to be ongoing. It is a task that does not end.
As for families calling for police reform,
it was as if I was watching my son's trial.
Gwen Carr, the mother of Eric Garner, backing businessman Ray McGuire for mayor, appearing with McGuire 90 minutes after Chauvin's conviction.
When this kind of thing takes place, I know he will do the right thing.
Now, 2 Republicans running for mayor, Fernando Mateo and Curtis Sliwa, have been opposed to cutting the police budget. As for Diane Morales, the Democrat, we mentioned her running on a defund the police platform. She has a news conference tomorrow called Community First Responders Department, in which she's pitching a whole new force to respond to certain types of emergencies. We're live at City Hall. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.